Circles of influence. If you don't understand this, highly likely you are wasting energy, feeling drained, maybe exhausted, scattered, incoherent, having trouble coping with the dramas and awfulness of the world at this time. So today I want to talk about circles of influence and how you can manage them to keep yourself coherent, resilient, happy, healthy, and functional so that you can make a real positive impact for your animals, for yourself, for those you love, and in the world. So with the circles of influence, a circle of influence is things that you can affect. And your first circle of influence is you. Just you, all of you, nothing but you, and the whole of you is your first of the circles of influence. And it's the most important one. It's the one that I devote probably about 50% of my time, attention, energy, and resources to is the circle of influence that is me, the first of the circles of influence, me. So I spend a lot of time with self-care, with healing practices, with making sure that I get massages and body work, with making sure that I have a good social life and lots of fun and stuff like that. Because when I'm filling my cup, then I can be a power for good for myself and in the world. If my cup is not being filled all the time and my cup runs out, I'm going to fall in a heap. I'm not going to be any good for man or beast, right? Then the second of our circles of influence is our family, our animals, our beloveds, and probably some close friends. And I give probably about 25% of my time, energy, resources, capacity to this second of these circles of influence, particularly my animals. This is where I care for my animals, work with my animals, train my animals, spend a lot of quality time with my animals. But again, I've got to keep tending to that first circle, which is me, before I can reach out into my second circle of influence and be beneficial, impactful, helpful, supportive to all my beloveds in the second of the circles of influence. Then the third circle of influence is like my community, neighborhood, workplace, social networks. I would include my online socials in that too. And, the town where I live, the city, that kind of thing. And I give about 15% of my time, attention, and energy into doing what I can to make that third circle of influence happy, healthy, coherent, and be a force for good in terms of helping, reaching out from my family out into the wider world and being able to help and heal. I also include my work in that, going out, helping animals, spending time with friends, doing volunteer work, charity work, things like that could fall into that too. And then the fourth of my circles of influence is the rest of the world. And I only give about 10% into the rest of the world, because the rest of the world is where there's all this stuff going on. There's all this bad news and all these scary things and all this chaos and all the stuff that has immense potential to harm our lives if we let it take over. That's why I don't give it too much attention. That's why I spend most of my attention, at least half of my time and attention energy goes to this first circle of my circles of influence, which is me. And the more that I make myself coherent, balanced, harmonized, energized, filling my cup to overflowing, then the more I can pour that into my second circle of influence, which is my family, my animals, and my close friends. And then I pour a smaller amount of energy out into that third one, which is my community, where I live, my work. But I only have 10% of my time and attention and my energy going into trying to make a difference in the larger world, in that fourth of the circles of influences. Now, a lot of people get it the other way around. Think, I've got to make a difference in the world, so I've got to be listening to and watching everything and posting on everything, and I've just got to give all my attention to the world. That is not helpful, especially at the moment with, fascist Nazi dictatorships taking over the USA and all that sort of stuff. Very easy to get tangled up and go into a real tailspin of doom. That's not helpful. And the beautiful paradox of all of this is that the more we care for ourselves, the more we dig into our spiritual practices, the more we heal ourselves, that first circle of our circles of influence has a tremendously powerful impact out to that fourth circle of influence without us actively doing anything there, because our song, the song of who we are, sings out everywhere. And the stronger we get that song, and the more of us who start doing this and caring for ourselves and really connecting with the earth as a beautiful living being and all living things, and getting into right relationship, sacred relationship with ourselves, with our friends, family, animals, and all living things, the more we're going to see the world change. So don't let the world distract you too much. Don't give you too much attention to how awful the world is. I mean, stay informed. Don't bury your head in the sand. But really think about your circles of influence and where you're managing your time and energy and where you're investing it. It's so important, and it makes an incredibly beautiful difference for your animals when you do that right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for listening. Love to hear what you thought of this in the chat. And I'll see you back next week. Have a beautiful week, and please give your pets a beautiful pat from me.